4 children, for different locations, but the same horrifying pattern. Each child taken by the Oakland County child killer was held for days, cared for like a beloved pet, then murdered and posed for discovery. The killer fed them, bathed them, and kept them clean and healthy, right up until the moment he decided they had to die. This wasn't random violence. This was someone with a specific, twisted need. Someone who wanted to play father before playing executioner. Before we dive into this disturbing case, if true crime mysteries like this keep you awake at night, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our latest investigations. Let us know in the comments which cold case has haunted you the most. February 15th, 1976. Dr. Robert Sillery had performed hundreds of autopsies during his career as Oakland County's medical examiner, but 12-year-old Mark Stebbins presented something he'd never encountered before. The boy had been missing for 4 days when his body was found in a Ferndale parking lot, and Sillery expected the usual signs of neglect and abuse that accompanied child murders. Instead, he found something far more disturbing. Stebbins was clean. His fingernails were trimmed. His hair had been washed recently. There were no signs of malnourishment despite being held for 4 days. The boy had been fed, bathed, and cared for right up until the moment someone decided to strangle him. "This doesn't make sense," Sillery muttered to his assistant. Child killers didn't typically play nursemaid to their victims. They grabbed, they violated, they disposed. They didn't maintain basic hygiene and nutrition. But the evidence was undeniable. Someone had kept Mark Stebbins alive for days, treating him like a cherished possession before ending his life with methodical precision. Detective Lieutenant Brooks Patterson of the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office found himself equally baffled when Sillery's report crossed his desk. Patterson had prosecuted dozens of child abuse cases, but this felt different. The care suggested planning, patience, and a psychological need that went beyond typical predatory behavior. "We're not dealing with an opportunistic killer," Patterson told his team. "This is someone with a specific fantasy. Someone who needs to play caretaker before playing killer." December 22nd, 1976. When 12-year-old Jill Robinson disappeared from her Royal Oak home after an argument with her mother, Patterson hoped it might be an unrelated runaway case. Children from affluent Oakland County families didn't typically fall victim to serial killers. 4 days later, when Jill's body was found along Interstate 75, Patterson realized the Oakland County child killer had struck again. Dr. Sillery's examination revealed the same horrifying pattern. Jill Robinson had been bathed within hours of her death. Her hair was clean and styled. Most disturbing of all, she was wearing different clothes than when she disappeared, freshly laundered garments that didn't belong to her. "He's dressing them up," Sillery observed, his voice tight with controlled emotion. "Like dolls." FBI behavioral analyst John Douglas arrived in Oakland County to develop a psychological profile of the killer. Douglas had studied dozens of serial murderers, but the care pattern presented a unique challenge. "This isn't about sexual gratification," Douglas explained to the task force. "It's about control and possession. The killer needs to transform these children into his idealized vision before he kills them. He's not just taking their lives, he's taking their identities." The investigation expanded to include hundreds of suspects. Every registered sex offender in Michigan. Every person who had worked with children. Every individual with access to facilities where a killer could hold victims for extended periods. But the Oakland County child killer remained invisible. January 2nd, 1977. 10-year-old Christine Mihalik vanished while walking to a 7-Eleven near her Birmingham home. 19 days later, her body was discovered in a Bloomfield Township snowbank. The pattern had evolved. Christine had been held for 19 days, longer than any previous victim. She had been fed regularly, bathed frequently, and maintained in perfect health until the moment of death. Her killer had spent nearly 3 weeks playing house with a terrified child. Patterson found himself consumed by the case. He studied crime scene photos until they burned into his memory. He interviewed hundreds of witnesses. He pursued every lead, no matter how remote. But the killer's method remained a mystery. How do you hold a child captive for weeks without detection? How do you maintain the facade of normal life while secretly caring for a kidnapped victim? He's not keeping them in basements or remote cabins, Patterson concluded during one late-night strategy session. He's keeping them somewhere he can maintain his normal routine, somewhere he feels safe and in control. March 16, 1977. Timothy King asked his mother if he could walk to a nearby pharmacy to buy candy. It was a routine request in the affluent suburb of Birmingham, where children regularly walked alone to local stores. Timothy never came home. 6 days later, his body was found in a Livonia ditch. But this time, the Oakland County child killer had left investigators a message they couldn't ignore. Timothy's stomach contained Kentucky Fried Chicken that he had eaten just hours before death. The nearest KFC was miles from where his body was discovered, meaning the killer had fed the boy his final meal, then driven to dispose of the body. He's showing off, Patterson realized. He kept this child for 6 days, fed him fast food, and wants us to know it. He's proud of his work. If this case is disturbing you as much as it's disturbing us, please take a moment to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. Cases like this need to be remembered, and your engagement helps ensure these children's stories are never forgotten. Dr. Sillery's examination revealed the same meticulous care. Timothy had been bathed, his clothes were clean, and his fingernails were trimmed. But there was something else, evidence that the killer had spent considerable time with the boy. Timothy's hair had been styled differently than when he disappeared. Someone had combed it, parted it, and shaped it into a neat appearance. The killer hadn't just been feeding and bathing his victim. He'd been grooming him like a beloved child. FBI agent Douglas updated his profile after Timothy's murder. The killer was likely a white male, aged 25 to 40, with a stable living situation that allowed him to hold children for extended periods. He probably lived alone or with someone who traveled frequently. Most disturbing of all, he genuinely believed he was caring for these children. He sees himself as a benevolent father figure, Douglas explained. In his mind, he's rescuing these children from inadequate parents and giving them the care they deserve. The murder is just the final act in his twisted fantasy of perfect parenthood. After Timothy King's murder, the Oakland County child killer vanished. No more children disappeared following his pattern. No similar crimes were reported in other jurisdictions. He simply stopped, leaving investigators to wonder if he had died, moved away, or found some other outlet for his disturbing needs. Patterson spent decades pursuing leads. Every advancement in forensic technology brought new hope that DNA evidence or computer analysis might finally identify the killer. In 2012, DNA testing eliminated longtime suspect Christopher Bush. In recent years, familial DNA searches have been conducted using evidence from the crime scenes. But the Oakland County child killer remains unknown. Today, Patterson is retired, but he still receives calls from investigators working the case. New suspects emerge periodically. Fresh tips arrive from across the country. The case files now fill entire rooms at the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. The worst part isn't that he was never caught, Patterson reflected during a recent interview. It's knowing that he's probably still out there somewhere. Maybe he's a grandfather now, playing with his own grandchildren. Maybe he's been caring for other people's children all these years. The man who killed Mark, Jill, Christine, and Timothy understood how to care for children. That's what made him so dangerous. The Oakland County child killer's care pattern remains unique in the annals of serial murder. Other killers have held victims for extended periods, but none combined such methodical care with calculated murder. He fed them their favorite foods, maintained their hygiene, and treated them like beloved family members right up until he decided their time was over. 4 children died because someone had a twisted vision of perfect parenthood. 4 families were destroyed by a killer who thought he was showing love. And somewhere in America, the man who played father before playing executioner may still be alive, carrying the secret of those horrifying months when Oakland County's children weren't safe in their own affluent neighborhoods. 47 years later, the Oakland County child killer has never been identified, never been caught, never been brought to justice for his twisted acts of care and murder. If you found this investigation compelling, Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more disturbing cold cases that will keep you up at night. Hit that like button if this case shocked you as much as it shocked us. And let us know in the comments which unsolved mystery you want us to cover next. Your engagement helps us bring more of these forgotten cases to light, and together we can keep the search for truth alive. Subscribe, like, and comment, because every cold case deserves to be remembered.